Aphex Twin is one of the musical aliases of Richard D. James, who's also known as AFX, Blue Calx, Bradley Strider, Caustic Window, GAK, Phonic Boy on Dope, Polygon Window, Power Pill, Q-Chastic, Smodge Face, Soit PP, The Dice Man, The Tuss, and user 1801191, and he may have other aliases as well. He's predominantly an experimental electronic music producer, and the things that he says in public about his private life are often lies or vastly exaggerated. So we will stick with he is Irish-born but British, and he has released 6 albums as Aphex Twin.
Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of the album I Care Because You Do by Aphex Twin, which was released in 1995 and is maybe his 3rd album. Wikipedia seems to hedge their bets a bit, but from their list, I think it probably is. My first time listening to this album, I have heard some of his stuff before. I have reviewed his album Druts on this channel before. And so this album, I would describe it as being probably avant-garde electronic. It's electronic, but it's a little, maybe more than a little off the wall. Acclaimed Music says this is IDM, which stands for Intelligent Dance Music. Well, intelligent, yes, but I'm not sure how danceable it is. And at times, actually, there might be people who would argue with the term music occasionally here. Sometimes it's kind of sound stuff. Mostly it's got musical elements though in it. So Aphex Twin is one of those acts that, in theory, I like, and that I kind of like the idea, and when I first came across them or him, I kind of thought, there's some real quality here, something interesting. I tend to find, in actuality, when I'm listening to an album of his, I don't find him easy to listen to, and this is one of those albums. Is definitely got the same kind of thing. It's got Aphex Twin. Yeah, this is going to. Oh, actually, I don't find it as easy to listen to as I'd hoped. It's instrumental. I can't remember if there are any snatches of vocals anywhere in it. I don't think so. Most of the tracks are certainly, to start off with, are busy and frantic, with urgent, complex, and meticulously constructed beats. There were times that I was listening to bits of the way the hi-hat is done and exactly how long the length of the hi-hat hit and the tail of it has been obviously really carefully curated. And then the tracks, they evolve over time, which is, a thing that generally people do with the music. And then with mostly ethereal paddy chords kind of floating over the top, but not always. Sometimes the different elements there in the kind of the rest of the backing. Towards the end of the album, though, kind of particularly the last 5 tracks, it slows down for several tracks. And then the last track is just synth elements, like paddy synth stuff, which without any beats at all. There's quite a lot in general of what you might call glitchy sounds, or maybe even farty sounds, which are actually, by which I mean slightly overdriven, to give it that kind of rasp to it. Ventolin as a track has a really annoying but almost constant sine wave tone that runs through the whole thing, and then towards the end just changes a little bit. So that track I find particularly irritating. A lot of the stuff, some of the stuff that I read about it is making comparisons with contemporary classical composers, particularly John Cage and others. I wasn't totally convinced by that. Maybe occasionally, but maybe these are things that are said by people who know things that I don't know and don't understand. So overall, I find it interesting. He takes unusual approaches to his music, but ultimately it's somewhat inaccessible. And the overall feel is vaguely unsettling, I would say. So that's what I think of this album. As always, I'd love to know, though, what you think of this album. I know there are people out there who are huge fans of Aphex Twin. If there are qualities that you think that I've missed, please do raise them. I'd love for you to have your say by let me know what you think in the comments. But that's it from me for now.